Ahead and start off.
Alright, so at its peak is 5D, Multiversal Plus, Beyond Time, Beyond Space, has a lot of hacks, and as far as I'm aware, Lobo cannot compete with such powers.
All right, so Lobo has consistently bodied outerversal characters, so Godzilla is going to be weak sauce to him. So it'll be a very quick battle. Do
I
you want to
guess,
go ahead and get into specific points for Godzilla in which you think he has an advantage?
sure, but can I get some of those outerversal characters Lobo has bodied?
Oh, certainly. Let me go ahead and get you this.
Because as far as I'm aware, he
I'm
hasn't
about to
like
post
thrown
it.
down with imps and shit.
Hold on, let me get.
What's this instant concession nonsense I'm seeing in the chat? That's some fucking bull. I didn't concede to anything. Though I could probably
Here,
scale down
go ahead and post some of your Godzilla stuff. I gotta pull this up in my other scan server for Lobo.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just gonna say like what things are, if you don't mind. So like this one,
Multiversal Plus or whatever. If you could explain what puts them there.
sure. So it's explained that there is God, like there would be in the Bible, and this God has created an infinite multiverse. Up it. So naturally, he's beyond it. Godzilla is considered his equal, possibly superior, due to the fact that he exists in all of space and all of time. All of reality is beneath him. And it is stated several times that he is a god, the one known as actual God. However, play, I'm sure. So I'm posting the scans up that confirm these things too. I'm not just going to give you like my word.
All right, go ahead.
A lot of these are quotes from the authors because, well, it's kind of hard to show this shit on comic panels. But was unaware Lobo has any outerversal feats.
Oh yeah, he does. I just gotta pull this shit up. Usually, I keep my Lobo stuff on my. Now, before I post this, I'll just look up this stuff individually.
Okay.
Are you aware of how the scaling works in DC?
To a degree, yes, but I'm not sure that I completely understand it because I have seen some characters who, by reading the comics, I would believe are multiversal, maybe 5D multiversal, and then I'm told that people believe them to be like hyperversal or some shit, like Mr. Mixel the 5D imp is somehow beyond dimensions or something. Is that correct, or am I mistaken?
All right, so hold on, let me post this for you. All right, so basically, the new gods realm, true form new gods are platonic
Sure.
concepts inherently outerversal. The reason this is important is because true form Darkseid, who is the strongest of his people, which are the new gods, is transcended. I will also post this map so you can understand. Let's see.
This is in the debate chat, right?
Yeah, I'm posting the map. All right, so my character was able to kill a character. God damn it, Kratos. Always have to post a bigger map. But anyways, so outside of the New Gods realm, it's transcended by Dream. Dream is where Santa resides. The reason this is important is because Santa is so powerful that True Form Darkseid every year tries to kill Santa, tries to at least hurt him when Santa comes to bring him coal, but he cannot even affect Santa. Santa casually just drops his shit off and leaves. The reason this is important is because of this. Lobo was contracted by the Easter Bunny to actually kill Santa Claus, which he did without difficulty. So he was able to kill a being that literally transcends an outerversal being. So it's a higher level of outerversal. Lobo bypassed his immortality and all of that to kill him.
Okay. Now, usually this doesn't get accepted because of the fact that there's more things saying lower levels. However, I would like to put out a case for potentially outerversal Godzilla. See, there are a few statements and other things that imply he could be at that level because, well, for example, God is compared to the one of the Bible, which would make him at least close to being truly omnipotent. I'm not saying Godzilla's omnipotent, mind you, but Godzilla can like understand that these things are there, which would mean he has to be a very high level of being himself. And there is another scan where it is mentioned. Oh, sorry.
What source does this come from? What line of comic? What company owns this?
This comes from IDW Comics, who for the last, I believe, almost decade have ran a series of Godzilla comics.
Mm-hmm.
And they've entwined Godzilla essentially into their multiverse, into their whole thing. And I would also like to bring up that Godzilla applies to Marvel cosmology since he has officially crossed over with like the Avengers and shit.
Yeah, Marvel cosmology is absolutely nothing compared to DC. Marvel's best, strongest character is like hopefully baseline outerversal, which has transcended multiple times in DC.
Oh,
like
one above all,
True Form Darkseid. True Form Darkseid would body Marvel by himself.
The one above all included?
Yes, he'd body the shit out of the one above all. The one above all is not actually omnipotent. That's not true. That's not the case even for the presence. No one in fiction is actually omnipotent.
Because they can't recreate themselves or something, because they know that's the reason the presence isn't considered omnipotent.
Well, the one above all didn't write himself, and the one above all has actually varied several times throughout the comic books to be different people. So it's not omnipotent.
I understand.
It's limited to fiction.
I understand what you're saying. With that logic, though, I could argue Godzilla would be Omni because he technically has value in this real world. Like, he's officially a citizen of Japan. He has his own hotel, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. If you need the stuff, I could put it up, but... And
so
there's
would
also
that make him
some
human level?
I get it. I mean, it kind of like bypasses the whole fiction thing.
Okay, so Limbo in DC Comics views comic books and characters like Godzilla as fiction.
And Lobo
that's how much higher.
Public,
that's how much higher DC's cosmology is than Marvel's or the other comics you're referring to.
What about compared to the Cthulhu mythos?
Cthulhu mythos is one of the strongest fictional verses.
Because there's an
the writer
interesting...
was a crackhead. So.
True. But because there's an interesting quote by one of the authors that Godzilla may have killed Yog-Sothoth at least his versus equivalent.
Okay, but there would have to be feats
Okay, just put it down there.
substantiating such claims.
It's 9 o'clock.
Sure, I'll get the scan of that.
And then you would have to properly scale your character. Yeah, that's just someone saying if you wanted to be sure. That's not actually a steadfast feat.
Just get some pictures
Also,
of this.
you the scans you provided, you said was like complex multiversal, which is 6D to 11th dimensional.
I
And
said
if
I could highball things to that level.
I know,
but
I'm saying that's absolutely fodder compared to Lobo. So your character, like the highest you said, is like you could scale him to the god of the verse, who is the creator of existence, right?
yeah. I was not aware of that, but
so like your character is still bound within concepts of dimensions through tiering, and my character has killed characters that defy that have exceeded that.
Well, there is also the fact that you can't really kill Godzilla if not everything is destroyed. I believe I posted that scan. I know you said that he could bypass that immortality kind of thing, but can he bypass all of everything that would be
Yeah,
there?
he literally, so Lobo, through the scaling I provided compared to your scaling, Lobo literally transcends any kind of durability Godzilla possesses or has demonstrated.
But there's also the point that it's not really given to me that Godzilla would truly die because his physical being and his true state are considered separate things. We've never seen his true state because it's stated to not be a physical entity, like it's an energy being. I believe I posted that.
Lobo can also punch that. He bypasses intangibility as well. He can punch on an astral level and on intangible level.
I have a scan or something, please.
Yeah, and here I'll also give you this. These beings absolutely controlled everything within their verse, down to every single concept within the verse. They summoned Lobo there to participate in games within their verse. Lobo was unaffected by their complete control over all aspects within their verse, and he killed them.
I gotta admit, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get you the intangibility thing. So these beings are not supposed to be touched. They are not tangible. They are intangible spirits that do not exist on a physical level. And Lobo casually bypasses their intangibility, which they state to be should be impossible. And also, so standard to battle assumptions. When he one-shots Godzilla on a physical level, let's just lowball Lobo, say he can't affect the spiritual concept of Godzilla, which he would be able to because he can kill gods. But Godzilla would still be out of the fight. So even let's say he came back down the road later on, he still lost the fight. It's kind of like if I get in a boxing match with you and I knock you out, if you want to fight me a few weeks later, it doesn't count for that fight. You know what I mean?
Okay, I kind of see what you're saying. But I just want to clear up that little bit. I mean, it wouldn't change that much of this fight if this is all true information, which I am assuming it is, because you don't seem like the kind of guy who would lie just to have like a devil's advocate or something. But
well, I'm posting the scans, So,
Yeah,
also,
I'm just saying.
this is what happens if your boy Godzilla makes Lobo bleed, which Lobo can bleed on purpose if he wants to. This is what happens. He creates exact iterations of himself from every drop of blood with his powers and everything.
Godzilla has things that can insta-kill, though. Let me get that.
Well, how fast
Because
is
it's a hack
Godzilla,
of his.
by the way?
Could be immeasurable speed, at least, because he's, you know, able to destroy infinite space, infinite time. He's beyond these things. He should at least be that level. Although I've also heard of a term called irrelevant speed. I'm not sure on the qualifications of that. I just want to make sure that if I did say he was that, I wouldn't be full of shit. So if you could explain,
No,
please.
you haven't. Yeah, you haven't demonstrated anything close to irrelevant speed. Not even sure you've demonstrated immeasurable or whatever. I'm just kind of having fun. But here's a couple more scans of his speed. You can scale him to irrelevant because these characters like Shazam have the speed of a god and can travel to places like the Source, which transcend their outer-versal realms, transcend the very concept of dimensional travel. So that's irrelevant speed. And Superman himself stated, this is a drunk Lobo, by the way, that's fighting Superman. Superman himself stated he can't even process the movement of Lobo in a fight. A character that can keep up with the Flash and Shazam literally can't process the speed of Lobo, which is further cemented by this. Let me get you this scan.
Well, I mean,
Lobo casually reacts to and bodies the Flash, and literally is so fast that he can calculate exactly where Flash will be.
then I'm just reading it.
And this Flash was trying to blitz him. So yeah, so based on the outer-versal scaling I've provided for Lobo, which I also provided from the DC map, the fact that he was able to kill Santa, who scale transcends Darkseid, who is baseline outer-versal, as they are archetypes or platonic concepts. This would put him drastically above any iteration of Godzilla you have shown. So the fight's a one-shot.
That was pretty interesting.
Then I just want to at least make another argument. Just one more, please.
All right, I'll give you one more.
Because Godzilla has several very interesting items in his arsenal at this point, since, you know, I did say composite, which kind of let him be invincible and let him one-shot
I've
everything.
already shown Lobo bypassing outer-versal immortality. Also, I've proven irrelevant speed for Lobo, so it's nothing Godzilla can do in time. Also, Lobo can see the weak point within anything if you want that to go.
If you don't have one, don't have one.
Well, you know what Godzilla's weakness would be in this case is Lobo transcends him. So Lobo just has to punch him. That's all it is.
That was interesting. Good debate.
Okay, assuming all this is true, just I'm not saying you're wrong or that you're lying. I'm just saying, you know, I could be wrong or be, you know, just stupid. But I guess I'll have to concede, because if Lobo is out of personal and just beyond all things on Godzilla's level, then I can't really see a reason he would win.
Yeah, and there's plot armors post-crisis Superman after being amped from being within the sun, hitting Lobo as hard as he can, and Lobo was like, LOL. So yeah, he's consistently above all these characters without even trying.
Did you say Superman is also outerversal by this logic?
No, I'm just showing you it's very consistent that Lobo is well above all of these characters.
Okay.
Superman didn't hurt him at all. Lobo was joking around.
How strong would you say this version of Superman is? I just want to ask that.
This is
Just in case for future things. So, universal.
And this was an amped Superman. This wasn't a normal Superman.
I mean, I'm not trying to lowball Lobo by comparing him to Superman. I just kind of want to know how strong you think this version of Superman is.
Well, he's at least universal, but he's also amped there. So it's hard to say. But he does have outliers. And then in this instance, right here, Dr. Fate and his entire squad try to take on Lobo, and Lobo literally walks away unscratched. They couldn't do shit. Dr. Fate himself has battled outerversal characters that reside in the God Sphere.
Spectre.
And he was unaffected by
creatures.
Spectre's not the only character. Spectre's above that, but Dr. Fate was also unaffected by Flashpoint because he exists outside of all the multiverses and whatnot. Similar to how True Form Darkseid was not affected.
All right. I guess I'll concede.
Pinhead Larry, shut the fuck up. Lobo's the GOAT. But yeah, anyways, that was interesting. Now
I don't like
you get to kill Kratos
chat.
because Kratos is trash, so you should be able to kill
Shut the fuck up,
Kratos.
Splash.